Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Shannon Bingham. I'm a guidance counselor here at Elko High School. We're going to get things started. Thank you for all being here. We really appreciate you attending. So like I said, I'm Mrs. Bingham. I have last names D-O through K. Mrs. Talbot has A through D-I last names. Mrs. Madsen has L through R-E. Mr. Oliver has R-E through I. They could not be here tonight, unfortunately, but they are a part of our team here. We also have a scholarship coordinator, Mrs. Carla Cruz. She's here with us tonight. And then other important members or people you guys should be aware of, our registrar, Rocio Chavez. She's on maternity leave right now, but she should be back in January. Our sub-registrar is Mrs. Kelly Bates. And then our vice principal over seniors is Mrs. Kristen Morris. This is an overview of what we are going to talk to you guys about tonight. While you skim through that, I'm going to let Audrey Carr, one of our new vice principals, come up because she's going to speak to you guys about attendance.
Hi there. As you just heard, my name is Audrey Carr, and I'm the new vice principal here at Elko High School. Basically, I just want to focus in here on this first one on attendance. I would like to think that by now, as seniors, we've kind of learned the process, but some things might have changed, or you may not have known a few of them. At the top up there, you'll see it says 10-day absence. So just please keep in mind that if you miss 10 days or more, your child, a credit can be pulled per Elko County School District policy. If your child is missing 10 days in a row, your child can be dropped. So I think the biggest thing with this is please make sure your child is in attendance, here every day, and learning. Seniors, one of the things we see the most of is missing advisory, and that's on Thursdays. It's right after second period. So we ask that make sure you talk to your senior about being in class. Every class is important, but definitely make sure that they're in advisory as well. That's where we learn a lot about what's happening here, like today. Lots of information that comes out about being for their senior year as they're getting ready to graduate. When it comes to obviously being gone, if your child is going to be, please communicate with the attendance office and let them know. Please keep in mind that if your child is, again, gone, they need to be notified in the attendance office within 72 hours. Again, that is a policy, so please keep us notified on what's happening so we're aware of what's going on. We do not excuse tardies, that's a big one as well, unless there's a medical reason, maybe there's a court situation, anything like that. So again, talk to your child who's most likely driving, let them know that tardies do count. So let's make sure that we're in school. This is our last year, so that senioritis, we don't want to kick it in too quickly. And then one of the other things we'd like to talk about with driving is the DMV. Most of our kiddos are driving when it comes to 12th grade, so if their absences do go above the 10%, we do have the right to pull their license. So please encourage your child to be in school every day. That is a big deal, and obviously it's a privilege that we want them to have, but we don't want to have to take it away. Okay, and I think that's about it. If you do have any other questions, you're welcome to speak with Ms. Morris about absences and attendance, or again, any of the vice principals. We're here to support you, and congratulations to your senior here soon.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about diploma types. Your student is either on track for a standard or an advanced diploma. There are two differences between a standard and advanced. For an advanced diploma, you need 4 years of math, including Algebra 2 or higher. And then at the very bottom of all of the things listed, you'll see that there's a GPA requirement. They have to have a 3.25 GPA. If your student has specific questions about classes that they've taken and perhaps they have more humanities than they do electives, those things count as the same thing. So it's okay if they have more of a humanities than electives, they all will count for an elective credit. But if they have other specific questions about classes that they've taken and where they count, please just make sure they reach out to their guidance counselor. We'd be happy to help them with this. Tomorrow, when we meet with your seniors during advisory, they will all receive a copy of their transcript, which has a credit summary on it, and it will have all of the classes that they've taken listed out in these specific categories for you guys. So in addition to a standard or an advanced diploma, if your student is getting an advanced diploma and they have taken other specific courses, advanced courses, whether they be honors or AP, dual enrollment, CTE classes, language classes, they can also qualify to earn a college or career ready seal. The requirements are listed up here. If you guys have specific questions, we will notify your student if they're eligible for this. We typically work on this in the spring after students have completed their first semester of their senior year. But if you have specific questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And then military opportunities. If your student is interested in joining the military, please have them contact Mrs. Talbot. She's our military liaison, so she can get them in touch with the appropriate recruiter based off of the branch that your student is interested in enlisting with. The ASVAB, if your student needs to take the ASVAB, they will have to register with her. We do have a test date for seniors. It's February 24th. But if they need to take it at a different time, they'll just need to work that out with Mrs. Talbot. And then an important note here, all male students need to register with the Selective Service within 30 days of turning 18. And that's all I have for you guys. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Cruz, our scholarship coordinator.
Okay, so I'll be talking to you guys about the senior newsletter. This will be a good guide for you guys for the whole year. It'll talk about senior events, scholarship opportunities, deadlines, campus visits, and more. Newsletters will be distributed the first Thursday of each month during advisory, both in person and via email to your students. Then we have extra copies in the College and Career Center in case they're gone. Parents, the senior newsletter is on the EHS website under department. You guys could find it on there under College and Career Center. Or I can also send you guys a copy if you guys email me. Also, if you haven't joined the Remind app, now is a good time to do that. If you guys want to take a picture of it and join. Also, you guys could share it with other senior parents if they weren't able to make it tonight. Okay, and then when students apply to colleges, when they submit their application, they'll be looking at GPAs, ACT scores, involvement, rigor, volunteering, communication, and ability to balance. All colleges will look at different things depending. Community colleges will be different from universities. So once your student has applied to a college, they should go to the College and Career Center and find a blue transcript request form. They could fill it out with all of the colleges that they've applied to, and they'll just turn it into me, and I'll take care of sending their transcript. Okay, and all of the scholarship information will be on the senior newsletter. If they lose their copy, they can always come get one. I'll have one every month. I'll keep some for whatever month we're on. Applications can be turned in online or to the College and Career Center. It'll let them know on the newsletter. Also, the dates are really important because sometimes it'll say that it's due a certain date on the actual application, but it'll be due a little bit sooner to me just so that I have time to go over it and then attach anything that I need to attach, like the resume or transcript. And then late submissions will not be accepted. We're also going to be having like a senior resume workshop in all of Mrs. Beach's class on October 7th, and it'll be for all of your seniors who haven't created one. Also, if they have, we also will be looking at them and seeing if they could change anything or add. They do need these for college applications, jobs, scholarships, and more. a summary. So they'll need a summary of their completed high school courses, GPA, extracurricular involvement, work experience if they have any, and awards. So every senior that is applying for scholarships will need to turn one in to me by October 30th, just so that I could have it on file for them. I will pass it over to Mrs. Talbot.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to be talking a little bit about some scholarships that Nevada has to offer, which are awesome, as well as a program called the Western Undergraduate Exchange Program and financial aid, and then we'll wrap it up and we can answer any questions you have. So the Millennium Scholarship is a scholarship that's been around for quite a while, and students can earn it. It's $10,000 towards tuition for colleges in Nevada. They have to obtain at least an equivalency to our advanced diploma, which, as Mrs. Bingham talked about, is 24 credits, 4 years of math, and a 3.25 weighted or unweighted GPA is the basic difference between the standard and the advanced. So if they do that, or if their GPA is not high enough but they've met the other requirements, they can use an ACT or SAT score in lieu of the GPA to earn it as well. And so the $10,000 is just towards tuition, but that's a lot of money, okay? And they automatically get it. So what happens is we generate a list of students who meet the requirements, send it to the State Department, and then it gets dispersed to all the colleges in Nevada. So they don't have to apply for it. The next scholarship is the Nevada Promise Scholarship, and so this one's a little bit different. The students do need to apply for it, but if they complete the application process, they will automatically get it. So not just a few select seniors get it, but everybody gets it that completes the process. The number one thing that students need to do, and every student should fill this out, every senior, is have this application filled out by Halloween, October 31st, okay? So if they do that, then the rest of the stuff they have time to do. There's other deadlines. And the application will take them just a couple minutes to do. It's not a hard application. I usually show seniors when they come into my office the application, and they're like, oh, that's it, I can hack that. And as we've talked about in here today, we will be having the seniors fill that out on October 7th in Mrs. Beach's English classes, and there will be a representative from GBC coming in to meet with the kids during that time. We did this last year, and we had, I think it was a 97% completion rate. Doesn't mean the students have to use it, but what happens is we have a lot of students say they're absolutely not going to go to a community college here, or they're not going to go to college at all, and then in June, they come back in and there's been a family emergency or the money's tight, they've decided they want to stay here, or they just decided they wanted to stay, and it's too late. So they have to have this application filled out by Halloween, and then they're good for that, and they can work on the other stuff, okay? And the other stuff is they have to complete 8 hours of volunteer work. Sorry, I can't see this. They have to complete 8 hours of volunteer work, and that's by April 1st. And then they need to do, there's a video they send by email that they have to watch about GBC or the community college that they're attending. And then also, if your child is going to go to TMCC or WNCC, and they decide that later, it's an easy transfer from GBC to those colleges with that information from financial aid. And then they need to meet with a college mentor that they'll be appointed by July 1st. And then the training I have on here is they have to have that completed by March 1st. So the colleges can help with this process. Mrs. Cruz can help with it in the Career Center, and the counseling staff, you know, we can help move them through this process. But the most important thing right now is to get that done by Halloween. So if your child's not there that day, they can come into the Career Center with Mrs. Cruz, and the counselors could help. We'll help them get it done. Also on here, we have a reminder for kids to bring their Chromebook that day, and also, which they should have every day, and their social security number they're gonna need for that as well. One thing that I do wanna point out that's on here too is that you have to use the scholarship right after you graduate high school. So they have to be enrolled full-time at a community college, and it's only good for the community colleges for up to 3 years right after high school's over, okay? And the other thing I tell kids too, because we're meeting with our seniors right now, we're starting to, and we will be meeting with all of our seniors individually. The goal, we usually try to get that done by December. We'll probably get it done sooner than that. But I try to tell my students that aren't thinking about college about the scholarship, because maybe they're thinking about a trade that they didn't know that GBC or one of the other community colleges carry. They will pay for it, and that's a lot cheaper than a lot of the trade schools. So it's something to think about. Okay, moving on, this Western Undergraduate Exchange Program. This is something that I actually did myself, going from Oregon to Montana on this program. I was able to not have to pay out-of-state tuition. So I paid a little bit more than in-state, but it was actually cheaper for me to go out-of-state in Montana than to stay in Oregon on this. And all I had to do, a recruiter handed me a form, an application that I just filled out, and it was 1 page, and I wound up getting it. Some states, or some schools, I should say, it will be an automatic when they process it, whether the student gets it or not. And some you have to fill out an application. Some schools have specific requirements, like you might have to be in a specific major. Some it doesn't matter. And not all colleges in these states participate in it. You need to talk to a recruiter and ask them about it. They'll know what the WUI program is. That's what they call it. So you can get on the WUI website. You can contact a recruiter and ask about it, but it will save your child quite a bit of money. Most of these states have quite a bit of schools that participate in it. I know Oregon's back on board with U of O and Oregon State. California, there's not as many schools, but there will possibly be some. All right, so financial aid, as far as the FAFSA goes. Some of you may already know what the FAFSA is, and some of you may be like, what the heck is that? It's a free application for student aid. So basically what this form does, it's a government form that you fill out, and basically it's your taxes from last year that they will be looking at. And this particular, this amount of money that you're offered is based off of those taxes. Only income is what they look at. So kids sometimes and parents get confused because this doesn't have to do with GPA, it's not scholarship stuff, it's based off of income. So you might get offered grants, and that can be up to $7,395, and that can be used for living expenses, books, tuition, and so forth. You don't have to pay that back. Every year I have kids come back to me saying, thank you for making me fill that out. And it is a choice whether you fill it out or not, but the Nevada Promise Scholarship requires it, and other scholarships will require it. And I don't know a financial aid advisor that ever tell a parent not to fill it out, okay? And the recruiters are gonna tell you to do it too, because it puts you in the college system. So if they see you didn't get any money, they may find other money for you. But if you don't fill it out, you won't be in the financial aid system at the college that your child is applying to. So it's super important. And the form opens on October 1st. So right now, if you go, it's online, and if you go to the FAFSA website, you're gonna see the form for 2025, 2026. Do not use that form. You will have to fill it out again, okay? There is, I was on it today, and up above that form, they have a test thing going on to kind of test out the new form, and if you want to fill it out early, before October 1st, they're allowing that. So just, you can take a look at that. If you have questions about it, call the college's financial aid office. There's always somebody there, staff, to answer your questions at every college. I worked at UNR. There was always somebody up front that answered questions, answered the phone, or answered them in person. And GBC, we have them right here in our backyard. They're super helpful. So, so I'm going to talk about our FAFSA night in a minute with GBC. But also on the FAFSA, you could get offered a work study, which students should check that on their FAFSA form. And basically what that means is they might get offered some money to work on a campus. Okay, so then they work it off. They don't have to use any of this. You can take all of it, part of it, none of it. And basically what you're doing and filling it out is you're getting some information as to whether you want to take out loans, which is the other form of money that they'll offer, work study or grants. I would never turn away grants because it's free money. The trade-off there, though, is students must attend full-time usually with that money, and if they take out the full amount, and they if they fail a class, they can be in jeopardy. So you need to be working with a financial aid advisor the whole time they're in school. Let me see. Oh, this also includes trade schools. So if your child is planning on going to cosmetology school or UTI or another type of trade school, they should fill this out because they also utilize it. The grant money may not be as much, it depends on the school, but they offer loans if students need that as well. And often parents and students may not know that, so that's important as well. So GBC is holding a FAFSA night at our high-tech center in room 139 on October 29th at 5:30. What I'm going to suggest is once October 1st hits, that you start the FAFSA, because there can be some hang-ups if you haven't started it. You will need to have your identity confirmed. And all this information that you're giving them online, it's going to the government. They already have this information. When you put in your tax information, you're going to pull it from the IRS. It's going to come, there's a button you hit, and it pulls it and puts it all into the boxes. So the form is new, or has been, I shouldn't say new, it's updated from a couple years ago. They've been making some big changes with it, so it should go even faster. And I just suggest that you start it early so you can get the username and password, get your identity confirmed, because that's how you'll sign the FAFSA. If you did it last year, you've done it before with a child, then it's going to be a lot easier with that because you'll use the same information for that piece. And then you'll know where you're stuck when you go in to get help, whether it's that night or you're meeting with a financial aid advisor. It's going to make it easier because you're going to know what documents you might need as well. And if you have one that is completely complicated with tax stuff too, you also could set up an appointment with an advisor. You might even be, you could do that, I'm sure, through Zoom with like UNR or UNLV too. And I know GBC will help as well, definitely. Also, we do have a Spanish speaker that works over in financial aid at GBC, and he would help in Spanish too. He's awesome. Okay, before I jump to this last slide that we have, I had, let me see if I have anything, a couple things that I jotted down that I think it's important that you look at. ACT and SAT are not used at the community college level for admission purposes, but they are used for English and math placement. If your child has not scored well enough to place into college English and college math, I recommend, and I'm sure the recruiters will, that they take a placement exam through the college that they plan on going to. And that, I find, if they haven't scored where they probably should place, usually places them more appropriately. So I would suggest doing that. If your child is going to university and they're borderline on getting more scholarship money, and that college uses the ACT and SAT for that, I would advise that they take it again, the ACT or take the SAT, and schools will take either of those tests. So if you get online, you can register and see when those tests are offered, but there's only 1 or 2 more dates for each of those. And for most colleges at the university level, you need to have that done before December, unless they're doing an admission early at more of an Ivy League school or so forth. Also, I recommend strongly that you and your child, if you haven't started talking to recruiters, college recruiters, you need to get on it now because it's late for that. And so pick up the phone, call them, tell them you're interested in the college, you're planning on applying, and get some information, because there are things that happen really quickly throughout the year, and things like dorms, that kind of stuff, you have to set that up early, and you might want to put a deposit down, because not all dorms are created equal, to get that set up. So that's super important, as well as working with the financial aid office. Recruiters will know possibly about other scholarships. If your child still isn't sure about where they want to go, and you're able to take a tour of that campus either in person or even through Zoom, I would get that done too. Sometimes they'll show you the dorms that way and so forth. If kids are still trying to decide, I really believe that if they can get on campus, that's usually when they make their final decision. They're like, oh, this is it, or this isn't going to work for me. And I think that's it as far as my extra notes that I wanted to cover with you guys to make sure you knew. These are the dates that I just want to make sure that I reiterate that October 7th is the Nevada Promise application time that we'll be having GBC come, and Mrs. Cruz will be in to help with Mrs. Beach's classes for resumes. And then Wednesday, October 29th is our FAFSA night, 5:30 at GBC at the High Tech Center. And then Thursday, October 30th, resumes are due to Mrs. Cruz. Friday, Halloween, October 31st, Nevada Promise application is due. Tuesday, November 4th, we do have a college and career fair, which is always awesome. And so some of these colleges will definitely be coming here to Elko, and we do take our entire senior class to that, so they'll be able to talk, and the military is usually there as well, so that's awesome, and trade schools too. So that will be coming up. And then Tuesday, February, isn't it the 24th? I think you have 25th in here. Oh, is it? It's the 24th. So it's the 24th we'll be doing the ASVAB. So if students need to register for that, they will see me. If they need to get it done sooner, that's okay, or if they're retaking it, because if you've taken it and you didn't like your score, you can wait 30 days and take it again. So I can help with that. I can help them get connected with a recruiter too if they haven't done that already. So last, I'll just tell you that there's additional resources on the website. We're going to post this PowerPoint on the website. We are here to help. We've got a whole team going, and if you have questions, you can also reach out to us by email. We'll be going through the same slides with your child tomorrow. And I just want to thank you for coming tonight. If you have questions, we'll stay after to answer them. So thank you for coming. Appreciate it. We're going to make it a great senior year.